for all the money you're making. Congratulations. This mess is going to catch up with you. And Chris, I'm going to ask you, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? I don't.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Vince Russo Riding with Russo, his namesake, ladies and gentlemen. You see, he's got it clamped up. He's got the helium ready. And boom! There we go, ladies and gentlemen. With the man, the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, the former WWE head writer. His name is Vince Russo.
You're like, Chris, come back, Chris.
Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Very nice.
How are you, my man?
I am doing good, Chris. I am.
Man, listen, we've got an interesting discussion to talk about. We're going to just do some wishes for 2023. But before we do some wishes for 2023, we're going to talk about the huge elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to WWE RAW programming. The huge elephant in the room is the fact that the Raw, I mean, they've done recaps before, like, so this isn't something that
they've done Christmas shows before.
Yes, they have. They've done
all that before, bro. Yes,
they've done recaps before. There was the snowstorm before that they had to.
Yes, the snowstorm. Yes, bro. So there was the COVID shows.
Yep, COVID shows.
The Thunderdome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses. I mean, there was a Raw before where they had to tell everybody to stay home because it was a major snowstorm. So that happened a few years back.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses. This has been the case before. This isn't the first ever recap show of Raw.
Nope.
Next, in January, marks 30 years of WWE Raw programming. 30 years. And 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, this past Raw that we saw at a 1.07 was the lowest rated Raw episode in history. Again, don't give me it was a recap show. Don't give me that, because this isn't the first time ever. We've had recap shows before that didn't feature talent. It wasn't a live show. So Vince Russo with a 1.07, and it got worse, because it was a 1.3 first hour of 1.04, 1.33 first hour, 1.04 second hour. The third hour lost nearly 200,000 viewers and was at 852,000 viewers. Vince Russo, what say ye? As someone who used to write this show, what say you?
Let me tell you what's happening. And guys, write down this date and write down the day of this show. I'll tell you exactly what's happening. And I've said this before. The WWE is making more money than they ever have in the history of the company. Without a shadow of a doubt. Saudi Arabia, Peacock, Fox, USA Network, they are making a boatload of money. And I've said this before. They are making the money off of resting on their laurels.
Yeah.
They are making the money off of the backs of those that built the past 50 years. They are not making the money off of the current roster.
Yeah.
And bro, here's what's going to happen. And it's already happening and has been happening. It is going to catch up with them in a hurry. Bro, let me use a perfect example, Chris. Everybody knows I'm a huge San Francisco Giant fan. Okay. San Francisco Giants, bro, won the World Series 2010, 2012, 2014. Bro, after that, for a couple of years, rested on the laurels of the championship team. All of a sudden, a long stretch went, bro. They didn't put a winning team on the field. Last year, attendance down 800,000 people. This is the same thing, guys. Kudos to them for all the money you're making. Congratulations. This mess is going to catch up with you. And Chris, I'm going to ask you, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? I don't.
I see a pressured, similar to how it was in the Monday Night Wars. I mean, WWE was resting on their laurels for a while before the Monday Night Wars came, and then you had, WCW come and inject, some life in them, and it was a wake up call for them. Yep. And it caused them to say, "Oh, wait a minute, like we could be out of business here. Like we have some legitimate competition who's starting to beat us in the ratings." And it caused them to say, okay, well, let's not rest on our laurels anymore of just people watching wrestling, right? With all these gimmicks. Mm-hmm. Let's make it edgier. Let's make some storylines. Let's make some bona fide stars that were younger, than the kind of an old guard that WCW was presenting at the time. So it forced them to be competitive. They don't have any competition now. And that's the thing. They don't have any, like AEW's there, but AEW's not competition to WWE. Even with that 852,000, that's a Dynamite episode. You know what I mean? So like that's not something that's really legitimate competition. Their worst Raw is AEW's best programming nowadays. You know what I mean? So that really doesn't matter. What's going to happen with WWE, Vince, is the fact that the next go round, when it's time to re-up these network contracts, that's going to be the wake-up call. That's going to cause them to say, okay, well, we're going to have to do something to boost up these ratings, because if you're seeing a downward spiral, and if you think about the past 3 Christmas shows, it was like a 1.7 a couple years ago, was a 1.5 last year, a 1.07. You've got people who are paying you money. They look at that stuff and like, okay, excuse me, like, why are we paying you money, to re-up this? So when they re-up those contracts, that's going to be the wake-up call. And the thing is, it doesn't matter, Peacock and all that matters now because they have a product to present. If you don't have a product to present, you're not going to have anything to get money from.
And also let's smarten up the audience out there, Chris, because again, it's a different time. There's streaming. There's this. There's that. Bro, Netflix just released the sequel to Knives Out on Netflix. It's called Glass Onions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. In the first 2 days, now keep in mind, Chris, Netflix is a paid platform. Yes, it's not free. You're paying that. Chris, the first 2 days of Glass Onions, 32 million people watched the movie. Very nice. Don't give me the BS, bro. Nice. Bro, look at 32 million people compared to 800,000. Yeah. This is what we're talking about, Chris. These are real numbers, bro.
I 100% agree, Vince. And again, I'm a college football fan. There is no way in 3 worlds that Ohio State football will be okay with low attendance, with low ratings. They will fire a coach. They will fire the GM. They will do a recruitment overhaul because that television money, yes, it's by, yes, you can get, ESPN Plus and all these, you can get these paywall stuff for certain games and Big Ten Plus and things like that, Big Ten Network. But this, at the end of the day, if there's not productivity, that productivity doesn't give you the opportunity to be ranked high. If you're ranked high, you're going to get those television appearances. The television ad revenue goes to the university. The university pays the coaches. And so that is how the money generates. If you're not having a good team, you're not selling tickets. If you're not selling tickets, you're not getting any revenue. And if you're not good, you're not getting those television dollars.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we're not just going to rest on our laurels of having 7 national championships.
Yep.
Like who does that? Like
you can't,
you
bro.
do
You
that.
can't.
There's
It's
no
going
way.
to catch up, bro. Could you imagine? Like, nobody has brought this up, bro. Can you imagine if, for whatever reason, that Saudi deal went away?
Oof.
Do you know what a big chunk of
Man.
change that is for that company? If something went haywire and that money disappeared,
Yeah.
bro, they are not preparing for what's to come. And I'm telling you, bro, it is coming. If there was promise there, if there was a light at the end of the tunnel, that's one thing. You know, like you go to sports again. Bro, you got prospects in the minor leagues that are gonna be there in a year or two. Okay, bro. Bro, there is no light at the end of this tunnel, man, and it literally is going to catch up with you, bro.